We did it.
Let's go,
We did
Christian.
it.
Give me
O sea, no
a freaking
puedo
high
creer. Vean. Los que nos dieron este podcast están locos,
Yeah,
but
y'all
maybe
are
they're
nuts.
onto something.
Like, y'all are nuts.
Right.
Who put us here? Hey, what is going on? I'm Jessica Flores.
Yes, I'm Christian Acosta. Actually, you may know me from Latino Radio and DJ Mode on Amazon Music.
Yeah, your
but
voice.
We know you also.
Your voice. I know. I've done radio in Los Angeles. I've been a radio personality out there, but I do stuff on social media as well. So I've done a lot of things in the music
That's
space.
right.
Music is like my entire life.
Music, I think, is our entire life. And actually, that's why we got this podcast, baby.
They gave us a podcast. Like, what is going on?
Tenemos podcast. Sí, no lo puedo creer. A
Yeah.
ver cuánto duramos, pero...
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I feel like it's been a long time in the making, but this is actually something that I know is going to be so cool because it's basically this incredible celebration is what it is of music.
Right.
Because all we talk about is music. We send each other music. I mean, that's part of every aspect of our lives.
Exactly.
And we got to really break it down
Exacto.
here.
Específicamente, o sea, el podcast se llama
La Semanal.
That's right.
Yes.
La Semanal. You know, we've practiced saying that many times together and it never comes out. That was the first time. Por primera vez, por fin.
And
right?
we even practiced that,
Right.
actually.
Bueno, por fin nos salió.
Let's go,
yes.
baby.
Yes.
Yeah, and you know what's cool also that I love, because obviously like Latin music, there's so many different genres, there's so many different types of vibes, but we consume it all, down from bachata, reggaeton, urbano.
Música mexicana, total. You know, pero aparte de música, o sea, tenemos mucho acá, right, en lo que va a ser este podcast, but it's really like the week in Latin pop culture, right? And we're talking the biggest news, the most exciting new music, the hottest artists. I mean, we're going to have it all here on La Semanal.
Yeah, and you know what I really appreciate about you, Christian, is that you keep it real. We want to keep it real. Our straight up opinions when it comes to music releases, even like those headlines that people are talking about, and really give our take on it. Because I know we're super tapped in on what's going on culturally. I know I'm from the West Coast. I'm from LA. I definitely have that vibe. You know, I'm Mexican Colombian, so I love música mexicana. I love that. And I love how it blends in a lot with hip hop culture. So that is me all day. You know?
Yeah, big time. And I think, you know, literally I'm from the other side, right?
Yeah.
So like Miami, you know, I'm huge into lo que es reggaeton, lo que es la música tropical, o sea, salsa, like, you know, old school
That's
stuff.
you all
That's
day.
That's so me. So like I could listen, you know, very easily I could be listening to, you know, Bad Bunny, but, you know, I can also take it back to like, you know, a Celia Cruz song or, you know, Jose. I mean, we're talking like everything, right?
Everything,
so,
yeah.
Yeah, so I think between the two of us, we can combine a lot of that, you know? So
yeah.
Thank you, Amazon Music.
Who let us on here?
Yeah, right?
Who let us on here? No, but seriously, thank you. And again, like there's so much music knowledge that I'll hear you talking about an artist and I'm like, who's that? I have no idea who that is.
Same with you.
Yeah,
Same with you. Like sometimes, you know, there's so many times I learn from you. And I think that's the point here. And I think we're going to learn, you know, o sea, obviamente, pues, you know, whoever's listening or watching, también pues van a aprender.
Yeah.
Pero, you know, we're also going to learn. And I think it's just going to be so much fun. And it's perfect timing porque pues en realidad es el tercer aniversario de Amazon Music Latin. And with that, you know, it really is, La Semanal is a really big part of that. Of course, I mean, I'm so excited for all of this, pero aparte, you know, we're also celebrating the game changers, you know, whose music really changed the game.
I love that.
And then with that, of course, comes Amazon Originals. We've got videos and, of course, podcast.
Now y'all have us here. I love it. And actually, speaking of which, the game changers, the people that you're listening to right now, who are you tapped into right now,
you know,
musically?
I have to say, I already mentioned him. Bad Bunny to me continues to be like, o sea, el que más repito en este momento, Un Verano Sin Ti, is just like, I can't get enough of that album. It's bow down to Benito.
Absolutely. I mean, he's like, it's that type of artist where, again, 10, 20, 30 years from now, that's going to be, you know, what the legacy.
What about
artist.
you, though? Because I know that you take it, you know, a veces como a lo mexicano, which I
do.
love.
And don't get me wrong, in LA, I do a lot of the nightlife scene, and I do a lot of those big reggaeton parties. That's a huge part of who I am, the old school reggaeton. I actually listen to a lot of the old school reggaeton.
No, I know you do.
Even like, you know, those legacy records.
Yeah.
But truthfully, like when I'm driving down the 405, the 110, I'm out here listening to Grupo Firme, Corridos, Eslabón Armado, Tercer Elemento. You know, it's that type of music that kind of.
But do you ever take it back to like old school, not old school, pero digamos unos años atrás, o sea, banda, por ejemplo, Recoditos, or, you know, yeah, you do?
Of course, Banda Recodo,
Right,
Banda
right, right.
Limón, Banda Mese.
Yes, of course.
So, you know, my musical taste being so much of what is like, you know, Mexican music, whether even if it's like that old school, Joan Sebastian, Vicente Fernandez, Rocío Dúrcal. I mean, I grew up singing those songs in karaoke bars with, I'd even have like the whole mariachi outfit and all that stuff. But, you know, having those grupos come to my house, that's kind of what we're blasting, even like Banda Mesa and all that type of stuff. Right. And, you know, I don't know. I just feel like that's such a big part of who I am. Mind you, by the way, another part of who I am is as much as Latin music as I consume pretty much every single day of my life, it's interesting, like I speak Spanish, but it's very like Selena vibes, you know what I mean? You know, she's a little bit Spanglish.
What do you mean, like 14?
A little pocha over here, but you know, I can still hold my own, okay? I can still understand it perfectly, but it's interesting, like a lot of my friends don't speak Spanish perfectly, but we are so passionate
Exactamente.
about Latin music.
And además, o sea, I speak Spanish, I speak English.
You're a unicorn.
Pero yo creo que entre los dos como que representamos, digamos esa comunidad que sí habla el español súper bien o whatever, y hay otros que quizás no, pero igual, o sea, son igual de latinos, igual de fanáticos de la música latina and all that stuff. And so I think it's important. I think I love that. You know?
I own it.
That's
I'm like,
who you are.
Estoy muy excited. Like that whole moment in that movie. Obviously, Selena movie made my entire life, and I think that was a big reason why I gravitated so much
super dope.
towards her.
That's
I'm
super
like,
dope.
I relate to you, girl.
Of course, no, pero bueno, aparte de representar, obviamente, digamos, a esas dos comunidades, también estamos representando lo que es Miami, LA, right?
West Coast,
And
West
look,
Coast.
sometimes we're going to be together. Sometimes nos van a ver aquí juntos, hablando, digamos, in the same room. Pero a veces no. A veces you're going to be in LA, you know, making sure that everything's like in order over there, entrevistando a los artistas allá, you know, bringing us what's happening on the West Coast. I'll take care of the East Coast, like todo lo que está sucediendo acá. And then, you know, making sure that like, you know, we're both like representing, you know, two sides of the country, of genres, of musical taste. Pero a veces we are going to be together.
Yeah,
so,
of upbringings too, right? Because of your childhood and the
you're
sounds
also,
you were hearing.
You're also traveling all the time. I'm traveling all the time. You know, you'll be at a concert.
Mr. Spain one day, London the next day.
Tú también vas a estar en un concierto backstage, you know, bringing us, you know, what's happening, you know, no sé, in California and Mexico, lo que sea. So I can't wait. That's why I'm so excited for all of this.
Yeah,
right? We're going to be all over, pero the idea, right, is to bring, you know, what's happening in Latin music and Latin pop culture.
And celebrate. And again, and the one thing I know that we're going to do, and I know this for a fact, is because we're super tapped into artists, is having those incredible conversations with those artists that you want to get to know, not even just on a music level, on a deeper level. Like you hear their lyrics and you're like, how is this person really?
Claro. Como por ejemplo, hablamos con Tokischa, right? Y esa es la entrevista que tenemos hoy en día. And I was in shock. I was in shock with, like, for example, I mean, I don't want to give away too much, but dude, she prayed on our podcast. She prayed.
Yeah, she prayed. And even just her aura, again, because you see this hype, you know, sexualized version of her. So when she walks in here and she's a little bit more mellow and very spiritual. And again, like when you guys see this, you guys are going to know.
I loved her.
You're going to know what you're talking. We're going to know what we're talking about. It's incredible to watch.
Total. So let's not give away too much here, right? Actually, you know what? Why don't we start to give away a little about who we are? Right?
Okay.
Porque nosotros nos conocemos desde hace ya muchos años, right?
2016.
Pero I think that we're still like have a lot to learn about each other. And I think, you know, the people can also learn a little bit about us, whoever's listening and watching right now.
Lists.
So how about ladies first? Because so then that means I'll introduce you first, right?
Okay.
Son 5 cosas de Jessica Flores que quizás no conocíamos, right?
Okay, let's
so the
go.
first one is played soccer at USC, right?
Wow,
and at
fight on, baby. Let's go.
At 13, you were asked to go to Mexico to play with the juniors?
Yeah, I was 13. I don't know if anybody has played sports like competitively, but at a very young age, 12, 13, there's already scouts kind of seeing, hey, who's the upcoming talent? And I do remember there was a Mexican scout there and he approached my coach. Hey, we'd really love to, is she Mexican? Like, can she come? I didn't have dual citizenship, so there was just no way I could have even done it. But the fact that I was noticed, bro.
Of course.
That made
But
my
you know what, though?
life.
Selfishly, I'm glad it didn't work out because you probably wouldn't be here
No,
today.
I wouldn't.
Yeah. All right.
That's true.
Your dad was one of the best long distance runners in the world, and you grew up going on intense runs with him. You still run.
Oh yeah, I still
Todos los
do.
días, right?
Every day I'll do between like on a really good day, 15 miles. Like on a really good day, I'll do 15 miles. But my dad, he'll do like 20 miles a day. He ran a race that was 135 miles.
130
in one sitting, and ran it the fastest in the world. So he's
Was
insane.
he being chased?
No, but you would think so.
Yeah,
no,
right?
But he was not. No.
Okay, a ver. Okay, you grew up singing with mariachi bands,
Yeah.
o sea, ya dijiste eso, at Mexican karaoke bars your whole life, and you competed in a show de Don Cheto, and you won a $50 gift card to Toys R Us by
Let's
singing
go.
Selena. You sung Si Una Vez, right? You sang
Si
Si
una vez dije que te amaba.
Yes, and you won $50.
$50. I was so freaking stoked. That was the highlight of my childhood.
¿En qué te gastaste los $50?
I'll be honest with you, I don't even remember. I think I lost the gift card or something. I don't even remember going to Toys R Us. I was just happy I won. It was a competitive.
You won the competition, pero you lost the gift card. Okay, how about this? You were nominated for a Kids' Choice Award in Mexico in 2017, but you lost. Like you lost the gift card.
Yeah, exactly. I lost, but I knew I was gonna lose. It was just like I'm gonna just show up,
Bueno, está bien.
showcase, walk the carpet.
Y por último, this goes to show that you're meant to be where you're at. You were the youngest radio personality on Radio Disney your sophomore year in college.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
J Flow on the radio was my name.
O sea, estoy aquí con J Flow on the radio.
DJ Flow on the radio.
Wow, no lo puedo
Oh my
creer.
God, it's so fun.
Además, ganadora del show de Don Cheto.
Listen, that was probably the highlight of my career at this point.
Okay.
Other than this podcast, let's go.
5 things about me.
All right, here we go. Okay, and this is something I really didn't know after so many years. Chris, you are a cancer survivor.
Yes.
If you don't mind me asking, what type of cancer was it?
No, that's fine. You can ask anything. Leukemia, actually. I had leukemia as a kid. Went through chemotherapy. Everything's good, thankfully, thank God. And that's made me push and drive for everything that I want, such as being here on this podcast on La Semanal.
How old were you? How old were you when you were
No,
diagnosed?
I was a kid. I had it for many years. So it was like between the ages of like 4 and like 7 and all that stuff. I think something like that, give or take.
What a fighter. Okay.
Bueno, todo bien.
He's here.
Pa'lante.
All right, you're a 3rd degree black belt in Muay Thai.
Yes.
Muay Thai. 3rd degree black belt.
Yes, it's 8 weapons. It's your 2 fists, your 2 elbows, your 2 knees, and your 2 feet.
Oh, I thought you were gonna go like nunchucks. I thought you were like the
No. Although I know how to work that. I know how to work the bow staff, the nunchuck, sword. I know how to do that as well. Yeah.
Dang.
Así que no se metan conmigo, eh?
I know. I'm gonna be hella nice to you now. Okay, a major car enthusiast. You can fix and build cars, and you know everything about cars.
I love cars. Obsesionado, pero es una obsesión con carros.
Really?
Yeah,
you know what? You dress, I'm not gonna lie, you dress so nice and you're always you smell so lovely all the time. You look like a walking Ken doll, I always say.
Yeah.
It's so weird to imagine you like getting down and dirty with the car.
Surprise.
Okay, he's an onion. All right, Nicky Jam used to be his next door neighbor. And I actually do remember that because I came to your house years and years ago.
Yeah.
And you're like, that door right there, that's Nicky Jam. And I was like, whoa.
Yeah, total. Yeah, he lived next to me for like a while. And y cuando nos vimos por primera vez, because he knew that I was in the media, right? We met in the elevator and I was like, listen, you don't tell people my business. I don't tell people your business. We good. He's like, cool, man. We're awesome.
Wait,
you know?
I love that. You're almost like, hey, it's not just me that could tell your business. You could also tell my business.
Totally.
I actually love that you did that.
Yeah.
Okay, and then your last fun fact. So you were actually named one of the Alma Awards ambassadors alongside, iconic people, Gina Rodriguez, Wilmer Valderrama, Michael Peña, and other industry greats. You amongst them. Claro. Do you remember when you were told about that award?
I was in shock porque no me lo esperaba para nada. And so cuando anunciaron mi nombre, I was like, what is this? However, I do wish I was J Flow on the radio winning Don Cheto's radio show.
Let's go. I'm telling you, man, that definitely highlighted.
That has nothing on Don Cheto.
Si una vez. That's my song forever.
Si una vez.
Oh my goodness.
I love the Si una vez.
Do you?
That's my favorite Selena Quintanilla song.
I know you sing too.
I do. Not right now. We've been talking too much today.
That is true.
It's my favorite Selena. What's your favorite Selena song?
Oh my God. You know, you're putting me on spot. Growing up, I loved to sing Baila esta cumbia because then I would do a little dance number. Baila
yes, of course.
Yeah, I mean, I love anything that I could kind of dance with it. Or Toro Relajo.
That one I don't know. Esa no la conozco.
It's a mariachi song. So it'd be like, es que viene el toro.
Oh,
yeah.
You have to teach me that one. Esa no la conozco. Si una vez for me was the best, right? For sure. I love it. Okay, bueno, so let's get to it, right? O sea, a lo que vinimos aquí en La Semanal. We're talking, again, the hottest artists. Yeah. And I'm so happy. O sea, ustedes no saben la felicidad que siento en este momento de poder decir que nuestra primera invitada,
Yeah.
right? O sea, estamos hablando like hot. When we say hot, it's hot, it's hot.
Yeah.
Tokischa, just de otro nivel, de otro planeta. I loved talking to
Yeah.
her. And she talked to us so many things. O sea, estamos hablando de
Madonna.
Madonna,
Spirituality.
right? Spirituality, prayers, you know, sexuality, de todo. Hablamos de todo. So, why don't we get to that?
excited. Let's
right? Let's get to Toki Toki. Here we go.
All right, you guys. So I'm super excited for this next interview. We were here with a woman empowered, making so much noise in the music industry. Tokischa, how are you, mama?
Hungry.
Hungry? I love that.
I'm starving
Yeah?
right now.
When was the last time you ate, girl?
This morning,
Okay.
but a lot happened since I ate.
Oh yeah,
So
it's been a long day.
it's already gone.
No, but this is like lunchtime. You know, really, we're shooting right now during lunchtime, so it makes sense. We'll make this quick so you can go eat, baby. That's
Do you
okay.
get hangry? Are you the type to get like hangry, like if you don't eat?
I get intense when I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Like I move a lot and talk a lot.
Oh, okay, like you're like twitching out.
Yeah.
Eso es bueno para nosotros on this
I
podcast.
know. More energy, right?
We like hungry Tokischa.
Exactly. Well, we're gonna just jump right into this because I mean, you have recently connected with just an incredible legend, two women that people consider rebels, and they do it their own way. They really don't care about what people have to say. Madonna, obviously. How did that connection happen? Like for the people that don't know that are listening.
She actually invited me to perform in her Pride show in New York. So that was about it. And like, we was like, what? We have to do something, you know, we have to do a song or like perform together and like, you know, really unir eso do mundo. So I was like, would you like to do a Hung Up Then Bow remix? And she was like, yeah,
So that was
sure.
your idea.
Yeah.
Genius.
Yeah, capitalize on
She
it.
loved it. She loved it. And we got into the studio and we was just vibing. And she's so sweet. She's so nice. She's so smart. She's like so powerful.
Of course.
And like being around, working with her, it's like really, really exciting.
Like, what have you learned from her? Because, like, for example, I always think you can learn from everyone, right? So, like, have you learned, you know, from Madonna, like the biggest lesson, whether it be direct or not, you know, or just by working with her?
She don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I love
Like,
that. But neither do
She
you. I feel like you
don't
didn't need to
give a
learn that.
fuck. She's so. She always says this phrase. It's like, it's a tough job. Somebody's gotta do it.
Yes, I love that. Go against the grain, which by the way, girl, you said you were hungry and we deliver here. Shout out Andres, one of our producers.
What is this? I didn't even know about this.
You see?
That
We
was
make magic
her.
happen.
She went all the way to the restaurant to get me some French fries.
Amazing. Love it. I love that.
Yes, girl. And
I
love this for you.
Okay, so Tokischa is a fan of French fries. Vamos aprendiendo cosas también, no? While she's
Absolutely.
snacking. That's good. Are they good?
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm asking you this, Tokischa, because you mentioned this one time, right? You said that Madonna smells good. What does she smell like? Well, I don't get to smell her, so I have to ask
She
you.
smells really good. I don't know. She smells like flowers, but like expensive flowers
Of course.
really expensive.
and exotic flowers.
Right.
Yeah, and she's always got this perfume that I don't know. What's the name?
¿No le preguntaste?
No. I just feel
sniff
it.
her.
I
Yeah.
just
You
smell
sniff
it.
You
like-
smell it.
The other day I was like around somewhere and then I see this girl and I smell that she smells kind of like her perfume. And I was smelling this girl like, and then I got
Madonna's
close to
like,
her and I got close to her, like smelling her. She's like, what are you doing?
Excuse
And I'm like, why do you smell like that? What's the name of that perfume that you got on? And she's like, oh, that's weird. I'm like, okay. And I told Madonna, like, there's some girl here that smells like you. And she was like, how dare she?
We love her.
I love that. That's a perfect. She's like,
That's awesome.
impossible. She does not have
This
it.
is one of a kind. What you mean?
Love that.
Yeah, she's so sweet.
All right, now we know what she
Perfect.
smells like. There we go. Exotic, beautiful flowers. Yeah.
Expensive, too.
Expensive.
Expensive, exotic, beautiful flowers.
That's the best sense.
Now we
Love
know. Okay, so I mean, when you're obviously thinking about collaborating with Madonna and you're thinking about what song would be a good fit for her and she would say yes to, how did you kind of vet through your catalog of music and how did you decide it was
because
that
like,
one?
por ejemplo, Confessions on a Dance Floor, that's where Hung Up is from, like el disco de Madonna. Y hay muchas canciones, por ejemplo, en ese disco que son buenísimas. Obviamente,
Yeah.
ya hablando, digamos, de otras canciones de Madonna, like she's got so many incredible ones. I love Hung Up.
Yeah.
But
I
why
love
Hung Up? Why?
I love it. I think it was one of the first videos of her that I saw when I was a little girl.
Okay.
Wow.
So it's always like every time I think of Madonna, I think of her with this pink suit in front of that mirror dancing. And it's so iconic and I love it so much. I love the song. I love the video. I love the vibe that it has. And that's one of my very favorite songs.
I love that song. Cuando me enteré que iban a hacer una colaboración, I was like, okay, that's
Yeah.
insane. Amazing. I can't wait because I've obviously been a fan of Madonna and I've been a fan of yours. Pero entonces, cuando me enteré que era Hung Up, Dembo, I was like, this is just like, this is beyond lo que me imaginaba y obviamente pues nosotros los fanáticos también. I love that. Y tocas el tema de Dembo, right? Hay un movimiento muy grande en Dembow, digamos, obviamente ha existido en República Dominicana for a very long time, pero digamos ya llegando al nivel internacional, and you're helping that, right? You're really helping that, especialmente ahora con esta canción de Hung Up. Talk to us about Dembow, o sea, qué tan importante es el estilo para ti, and that people get to hear it.
Dembow, I remember when it first came out, it was like you were not allowed to listen to Dembow at home.
Right,
Because it was crazy, it was hard. Imagine living in this house where grown-ups listen to balada,
Claro,
to bachata,
of course.
Románticas.
salsa,
Lo
romántico.
romántico.
And then viene esta música con toda esta mala palabra,
Claro, ajá.
talking about the hood, talking about drugs, talking about sex,
Talking about reality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember that I will have to listen to it when nobody was home, or just like.
O sea, escondida,
Yeah,
¿no?
like under your blanket or
And
outside.
then by that time fue cuando empezó a venir Facebook y yo tenía un Facebook y yo puse en Facebook una frase de un dembow,
Okay.
que uno de los primeros dembow que dice que tengo pila mami chula que me hacen golo golo.
Okay,
And
okay.
it talks about they're sucking me.
Right, right.
So imagine me, a little kid, y yo pongo eso en Twitter. Sí, porque tengo pila mami chula que me hacen golo golo. So everybody in the family was like, what? Are you
Excuse you.
O sea, tu tía era
Delete
como
that
que...
right now.
Are you serious?
Oh no.
And they took my Facebook down. Me sacaron de
But
Facebook.
did you know what you were writing? O sea, ¿sabías
Of
lo que
course I
significaba?
knew,
Okay,
but
just
I was
making
like-
sure.
She's like, and I
I
stand
was
by
like-
it. By
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, oh my God. Seriously, that's what it means? I had no idea. I'm so sorry. And they were like, yes, you know what it means.
No te hagas, no te hagas.
That's amazing.
Y nada, crecí escuchándolo, vacilándomelo. Cuando iba para los parties, siempre tenía un castigo al otro día porque siempre hacía algo. Y fue realmente un momento de rebelión, de desacato mío.
Yeah.
Después de que crecí, me metí más en otra escena, en la escena de la música electrónica, en la escena del rock, y fue un momento que descubrí algo nuevo.
Claro.
Salí un poco, porque yo salí, I moved from the hood to like the city. And in the city, you have all this other type of music
And
that you
sounds.
discover, and sounds and vibes that you're like, oh my God, this is new. So by a time I was like, oh, so this is something else. And then when I started to make music, I started to do trap. Because I was like, I love rock. Now I love rock.
Yeah. This is my
I
genre
still
now.
love rock.
Yeah, I do
That's my
too.
favorite thing. And then dembow started to like, I went back to dembow. Because I went back to the hood. I went back to the studio.
Yeah.
I started to go to the studios in the hood. So I was like, oh, this feels different. So I remember this makes me feel like I'm home. Like I'm a little girl
and
again.
that's the best feeling.
It's home, yeah.
Yeah.
Home's the best feeling.
And I was like, wow, am I gonna be able to really do it? Like, it's so fast. It's so fast.
yeah.
Like, you have to rap, you have to write, you have to express, you have to rap. You gotta be fast. So I did my first dembow, and it was nuts.
How
It was
old were you?
Crazy.
How old were you when you did your first dembow?
It was just like 4 years ago, maybe 5
Yeah.
years ago, when I started to do music. I started to do music in 2016. And then I went from trying rhythms, trying rock, trying R&B, trying trap, a lot of stuff. And then it was like, all right, let's just concentrate here in dembow. And we did our first song that we dropped, que es de Desacato Escolar, y it went nuts.
You know, it's
Were you
amazing.
expecting it to? I mean, it's your first one. Were you expecting it to go as crazy as it did?
I didn't, because my idea was not to offend or to disrespect the education system, because the song talks about being in high school, being in school,
Right.
and being lit in the school, you know, fucking, smoking, escapándote de la escuela and all that.
Yeah.
So it was just fun. But then el sistema de educación se molestó y dijo que era una ofensa, que era una falta de respeto, y realmente ellos hicieron esa canción tan grande. Ni siquiera fui yo, ni
They
siquiera
blew it
fue.
up, claro,
Yeah,
ajá.
because
They talk
were
about
like,
it. O sea,
they started to talk about it. It was in
o
the
sea,
press.
por la controversia y por decir que no, que ofensiva, entonces boom,
You hype it up
explotó,
more.
Ellos le dieron vida y hubo que tumbar el video de YouTube. We had to shut it down. And then everybody was like, I have the video. Text me and I'll send it to you on Instagram in the comments. Entonces fue algo prohibido por el sistema, pero la gente ya lo tenía y se lo estaban pasando uno a otro.
Claro.
Yeah.
Pero, o sea, lo que la gente también tiene que entender es que, you know, a lot of people say, oh, offensive, provocative, pero en realidad es la realidad. And that's why, honestly, when I first heard you, la primera vez que te escuché, I was like, you know what? Este artista está hablando de cosas reales, o sea, cosas humanas, you get it? And like people maybe don't want to hear that, but it's like we have to get out there and hear that. Por ejemplo, digamos con el tema sensual, sexual, o sea, eres muy abierta con todo eso, and I love that. I love that, o sea, no tienes, digamos, el miedo a nada y que simplemente estás hablando de human nature, right? ¿Qué tan importante es para ti, digamos, hablar de esos temas sexuales, de estar, digamos, hablando de esas verdades y que todo el mundo pues lo escuche?
Yeah.
Que desde niñita yo siempre he sido muy sexual, muy expresiva, muy abierta, y siempre me dio problemas en la casa, me ha dado problemas. Siempre he sido una niña con mucho problema simplemente por ser yo, porque no es correcto que una niña no se quiera poner brasieles, que una niña se esté besando con otra niña o con otro niño.
Right.
No es correcto. Entonces, pero a pesar de que me castigaban, me llamaban tanto la atención y eso, nunca es algo que nunca he podido dejar, ni tengo ganas de dejarlo tampoco. Yo nací así, yo soy así y me gusta, me siento libre, me siento que puedo expresar mi sexualidad, puedo, y tampoco es que soy de que, ay, que soy tan sexual, ay, Dios
No,
mío.
of course,
Tampoco,
right.
sino es como que es una sensación, es como una forma de pensar más que una sexualidad física.
Got it.
Es como un mood. It's like a mood.
Yeah.
I feel good. I feel sexy. I feel beautiful.
And I think that's a good message para las mujeres también, you know? Feel good, feel sexy, feel
Because
beautiful.
sometimes,
right?
honestly, we feel suppressed. You know, sometimes it's, you know, whether it's your family, like you said, your family was tough on you at the beginning when you were tweeting things and stuff, or society, or this industry in general. Sometimes it can be conservative when it comes to women. So being able to have that power and say, this is what it is. I mean, I think that's incredibly, incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
You know?
But you've obviously had to face a lot, you know, of criticism. Pues la verdad. And look, I'm the kind of person that I don't care what people think about me, but I don't get it as much as you do. You know, I get some criticism. Yo creo que todo el mundo, right? Pero entonces tú cómo haces con tanto, o sea, con tanta crítica, o sea, con tanta gente diciendo, no, she shouldn't be doing this, o no debería hacer esto, whatever, you know? ¿Cómo lo enfrentas?
Realmente no lo enfrento. No le pongo esa atención, porque si le pongo atención, si tú le pones atención a la crítica,
Yeah.
tú te pierdes. Porque tú ves, dicen, ay, ya no debería hacer esto. Si tú dices, oh, pero ellos dicen que yo no debería hacer eso, yo debería hacerlo, yo no debería, o yo debería, o yo, tú sabes, tú empiezas a dudar.
Go crazy.
Entonces, yo no le pongo caso y simplemente lo veo como un número. Es un número. Cuando me critican, es un número. Esa persona que está hablando de mí es un número. Está hablando de mí, quizá personas que no me conocían me van a conocer porque tú estás hablando de mí.
So true. Además, a person that hates you and who's watching your video is still a view.
It's a fan.
Es un número.
It's a download. You know what I mean? Like, thank you
Exactly.
for,
You're still okay. You
I'm
could
popping
continue.
up. So what's something that you feel like your fans and these, you know, you're telling us that it's just another number. What's something that you feel like your fans don't know about you? You know, when you're at home and you're relaxing and you're just in your essence, like, what do you think is something that a lot of people don't know about you?
Something that people always get surprised about me is how chill I am. Like, I'm so chill. I be at home chilling. I love praying. I love to pray. I'm very spiritual. And there is a difference between religion and spiritual.
Agreed.
You know, I'm spiritual because I have a connection with God. When I pray, when I do something nice, when I share love, when I share, I don't know, something that will help somebody else. I'm very empathic too.
You feel energies when you walk into a
Yeah.
room. You feel
Yeah,
people's presence. I'm the
very
same way. Actually, I was talking to him the other day. I feel the same way. I walk into a room and I can instantly feel how other people are feeling instantly. You know, and does that affect you sometimes if you walk into a room?
I learned how to like not let that energy to come inside me. Instead, be like repeler esa energía, como si no está el vibe, pues no me toca. Aprendí eso porque antes, cuando descubrí que tenía eso de sentir la cosa, me afectaba en ocasiones. Tenía amistades que estaban en depresión, parejas que estaban en depresión. Entonces yo me metía a eso tratando de ayudar y al final terminaba jodida yo también ahí. Entonces
Totally
ya,
understand. I'm like, you are speaking to someone that deals that almost every
ya
day. I feel like.
aprendí como sí todavía puedo ayudarte, puedo cuidarte, puedo aconsejarte, pero ya no me meto en tu burbuja. Mi burbuja la tengo bien protegida,
Right.
bien cerrada.
Okay, Tokischa, mencionaste that, you know, that you pray, o sea, que rezas. And maybe a lot of people would be surprised to hear that, but ¿cuál es tu oración favorita? O sea, to your favorite prayer? Like, what do you pray to? You said spiritually, right? But like, what is that for Tokischa?
I always start thanking for the new day, agradeciendo, and I like to write down my prayers because it's like a conversation. It's like I look and it's like, oh, this is a beautiful day today. It's full of energy. I'm so thankful that I'm able to see it, to feel the energy of this day. if it's a very productive day, it's a creative day. So I'm always like, thank you, and thank you for giving me so much love and so much happiness and so much joy. So yeah.
I think people can really learn that from that though, because gratitude goes a long way.
Yeah.
Without gratitude, doesn't matter how much you have. You could have this much, or you could be the richest person on earth. Without that, you're not going to be happy, and you're not going to go about your day and experience everything the way that you do. So I think that's really, really beautiful.
No, y me encanta porque, pues, repito, hay mucha gente que quizás, no sé, tiene como que una idea equivocada de Tokischa, o sea, una Tokischa agradecida. I think that that's so important to hear, and I love that.
Well, do you want to play Pere Penitencia?
Yeah, let's go for it. So we have, we have our questions, our French fries. I love it. We have preguntas, you know, a little hot.
A little risque.
Yeah, a little risque. For Tokischa, I don't know if it's going to be risque, right?
I feel like she's like, I'm just going to answer all of these.
Total. Pero igual, por si acaso, we have una caja de penitencia that Kim will be bringing in just a few. And so there's a mess happening in the kitchen.
They're trying to figure it out back there.
And so we're gonna have the penitencia for you with these spicy questions. So let's start with the questions mientras esperamos la caja, right? You want to take it?
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna do the first one.
Here we go. And if you don't have to answer it, by the way, right? But if you don't answer, then you have the penitencia.
All right. So obviously you like, the music you released, or else you wouldn't have released it. But what in your opinion is the worst song you feel like you've ever released, or one that you regret? If you even have
that's
one.
out?
Yeah, that's out. Or you've ever released. Honestly.
Oh my God. I really don't like one song. There's one song that I really, really don't like. And I'm gonna say it.
Okay.
I'm gonna say it. If I say it now, everybody's gonna listen to it.
They're all it's like the streets are gonna go way up.
But yeah, I really, really don't like Perras Como Tú.
Really? Okay.
I don't like it.
Tell us why.
Because yo dije mucha mala palabra en ese verso, mucha mala palabra que ya yo no digo, pero que en ese momento yo era súper dark, súper mala onda, súper tecata. Entonces, esa canción no me gusta porque digo mucha mala palabra y porque el coro es como de niña de la escuela.
Okay.
Como chimosa.
I love that. But you know what, though? Yo creo que eso también es como que el crecimiento, o sea, artísticamente, como persona, right?
Sí.
And then you go back and you're like, oh.
You're like, I've grown up a little.
Y que en ese momento fue una gran canción, fue grande porque estábamos empezando y fue nuestro primer featuring con un artista de fuera que es Farina y fue una canción de soundtrack de una película. Entonces yo no la quería hacer. Yo no la quería hacer. Yo creo que no. Y al final tuve que hacerla y hice un verso que no lo tolero.
Oh, you're like, do not play that around me.
We're like, and roll the song. No, mentira. Okay, did you ever have a crush on a teacher?
On a teacher? Yeah, of course.
Of
yo
course.
Estudiaba,
Lo dice como like si todo el mundo. I don't think everyone has.
Yo estudiaba en una escuela de monja.
Ajá.
Really?
Y ahí empezó como ese fetiche de ver la profesora con su cosa de monja y que me pareciera tan hot.
Yeah. Okay.
Sí.
Really?
That's where it started.
Me parecía muy bonita porque tenían todo cubierto y se le veía su carita tan linda, blanquita, así. And I was like, I'm so gay.
You're like, come here now. I love that, a monja. Who would have thought?
Okay, what about something expensive that you bought that you're like, oh, man, why did I waste my money? You know, como que después te arrepientes.
Yeah, that is big
right?
expense.
I never regret spending my money.
Yeah!
If
That's
I
the
like
answer.
it, I gotta buy it. And I don't usually spend a lot of money on stuff. So if I really, really like something, I buy it. But I have bought stuff and then I damaged it. Like for example, I've got like Balenciaga underwear.
Right.
And like got my period on it. A
The
white.
worst. Every girl knows what that feels
White
like.
that happens,
Balenciaga.
yeah.
So you have your
underwear.
period underwear, right? We all have our period underwear.
Yeah, but some days you're just out and feeling cute and you get your period.
And you're like, not in the
Balenciaga.
No. I love
It
the
happens,
honest. Come on, let's be real. That happened to me like damn near last week. I feel
That's
like.
what it is.
Honestly.
Do we have one more, or is she not gonna get the penitencia because she's answered everything, right? You can see the
see the
caja de
penitencia.
penitencia, but she answered everything.
Yeah.
I knew she was gonna answer.
That's what I thought. I was like, no matter how juicy.
Ok, entonces para cerrar, siempre cerramos con un chin chin para el fin. We do a cheers, we do like a little brindis, and we're gonna do water because right now you just want to drink water, right?
I'm not drinking
And we've
because
You're not
established it's
drinking.
not bad luck, by the way.
I was
No.
drinking a lot the other day.
What do you mean the other day? Porque hoy es like what, 2 days ago, 3 days ago?
Like some weeks ago.
Some weeks
I was
ago,
in New
okay.
York in Fashion Week.
But you were all over for New York Fashion Week. Ahí sí, con
I was
nosotros no,
drinking.
pero New York Fashion Week sí.
And then like that month I was really lit. I missed some flights. I got late to some places because I was too lit.
Okay,
My
okay.
girl.
So that's why right now like chilling. I'm
Juiciosa,
not drinking.
portándose bien.
Portándome
Está bien.
yeah.
Entonces en chin chin saludable con
Salud.
Tokischa.
She's like, I'm still hungover from that last time drinking water.
But can you promise us when you get back to the drink and we'll have a drink, we'll have a little toast, the three of us?
Shots.
Tequila.
Tequilita.
Thank you.
Okay.
I
love
that's what I
tequila.
was.
That's my
that's
So
what
favorite.
I
when you get
wanted.
back to it, cuando
Tequila.
regreses, digamos a little teen fun, right? The three of us with tequila shots
Tequila.
somewhere. Good.
Thank you for coming
I love
by,
it. I
Mama.
love it. I love it.
Cheers.
Global superstar Tokischa, thank you so much.
go.
We love you. En serio, we do. We've been so excited. Cheers.
Cheers, everybody. Agüita.
Agüita. You know what? It's good for us to take a break too from drinking. Thank you, Tokischa. Who would have thought Tokischa would make us behave, right?
Right?
Wholesome vibes on set today. Very wholesome. Wow, she is such a bombshell in her right. She's a woman empowered, and that's actually really inspiring for me. I mean, being a female in the industry, right? It's so easy to feel boxed in or, dress a certain way, talk a certain way. And the fact that she's like, this is what it is. This is who I am. I'm dynamic. I'm spiritual. I'm sexual. I love it.
Además, buena persona. You get what I'm saying? Like, she's an artist like with so much mystery right now. Like so many people are saying, esta cosa de ella, la otra de ella. Es como que, she's getting a lot of backlash in many ways, criticism, como de lo que hablamos en la entrevista. But like, at the end of the day, she's a good person. Like we were really having a good conversation. She was super genuine, super sweet. And I think that that's important also to mention.
Yeah, and again, even off camera, right? She was
Por
just,
eso, right.
yeah, who she was just in general. Sometimes because artists can, turn it on, turn it off, and I totally get that. They're professionals, but it's nice to see that her aura kind of just shines through on and off camera.
Pero me encantó la entrevista con Tokischa. Ojalá que sea la primera de muchas con ella, right? Of course.
And so many other artists that
Of
we have
course.
coming up that I have on my own personal wish list. I'm going to keep it to myself.
I got
but
my
I'm
wish list too.
I'm going to manifest that.
Yes,
I'm ready to
yes.
sit down and chop it up with you guys.
I'm going to manifest it y pedirle, digamos, a los ejecutivos de Amazon Music
The
to make it
Amazon
happen.
gods. I need the Amazon gods to
Let's
come
do
through
it, let's
right
do it.
now.
Pero bueno, ya dijimos, la primera de muchas como esto fue el primer La Semanal, right? So I think, a round of applause for us. Yes, we did it.
Let's go,
Round of
baby.
applause. We're gonna be, this is just the beginning. Esto apenas es el comienzo. Todos los miércoles no se pueden perder La Semanal. We're gonna be everywhere, of course, Amazon Music, on YouTube, en todas las plataformas. And that's it. We did it.
Let's
We
go,
did
Christian.
it.
Give me
Se no
a
puedo
high five.
creer. Vean. Los que nos dieron este podcast están locos,
Yeah,
but
y'all
maybe
are
they're
nuts.
onto something.
Like y'all are nuts.
Right.
Who put us here?
Of course. Thank you. And that's it. We'll catch you on the next La Semanal.
We'll see you next Wednesday, baby.
I love it.